Although millions of people played Pavlov's Shack in beta free on their Quest 3, Quest 2, or even on PC, people are still continuing to buy it now that it's launched with a price tag. This is the most popular VR shooter with tons of different modes, from search and destroy, zombies, deathmatch, to custom mods where people play all kinds of things like Trader and Terrorist Town. And since the new version has come out, it's only got about 4,000 ratings with about a 4.2 rating. 70% of those 5 stars, people saying it's funny, it's hilarious, it's good, they love it. People just writing all kinds of random crap in the comments that doesn't even make sense, but still giving it 5 stars. But if you go looking for the real reviews, people saying that it is a great VR shooter. They love the game, they love the gun mechanics, but ultimately the community can really mess it up if you get into the wrong lobby. People are saying all kinds of toxic things and being awful. There is bots, you can check this out on your own, or go in with a group of friends or people you know from a Discord, and you're probably gonna have a blast and be laughing the whole time. Number 9, Ghosts of Tabor, often called an escape from Tarkov in VR. This is an extraction-based shooter where you gotta go in, get all the supplies you can, and get out without dying. Otherwise, whoever takes you down is gonna steal all your supplies, including the great gun you brought in with you that you might have gotten many matches ago. Ghosts of Tabor has been a huge hit ever since it came out, from going to App Lab and now over to the main store. It has over 13,000 ratings, giving it about a 4.2 rating, 71% 5 stars. People saying it's a better version of Tarkov, the best VR shooter. People saying they just need to find people to play with. And if you go looking for the lower reviews, people saying the game is kind of overrated. It's not quite what they thought. People complain that they die too easy, or that you'll have issues with collision. But overall, this game has been immensely popular since it came out. And if you're one that likes the pressure of extraction, it might be one to check out. Job Simulator has been around since the earliest days of VR, and yet is still one of the top-selling games on the Quest. This is a game set in the future where robots do all the jobs, so people go on vacation by going back and seeing what it used to be like to job. It's a hilarious take from the robot's perspective of what human jobs used to be like, and they've added updates with unlimited overtime, hand tracking, and other things to help keep the game fresh. All these years later, 18,000 ratings, giving this about a 4.7 star rating. 79% of those are 5 stars. People saying it's just awesome, it's extraordinary, it's a great game to put new people in VR into. People in the lower reviews saying that there's been issues with the older Quests not being able to play it anymore. People saying that they don't like the hand tracking, it's too buggy, or people just complaining about how this is a fixed in-place game where you use real-world locomotion and they want to be able to walk around with the joysticks. This is an early VR game that didn't do that, but it doesn't make people motion sick. It's great for putting noobs into. Highly recommend Job Simulator if you don't have it. Among Us VR is the VR version of the Among Us game that absolutely blew up during the pandemic. This is completely rebuilt for VR, so you are on a ship with a crew trying to figure out who the traitors are and vote them off the ship, and the mechanics have all been redesigned for VR. It feels really good, it looks really good, and 6,300 ratings give it about a 4-star rating. Only 51% 5-star, a little more divisive. People saying it's great, they love that it's Among Us, it's so fun to play, but people in lower reviews really citing issues in the community, bans, hatred, rude talking, something you sadly see in a lot of these big multiplayer games. But if you have a crew to go in with, I've had some of the most fun in this game with other YouTubers. Waltz of the Wizard has been out a while, but it recently got an update with an AI Scully that talks to you, and people just love how hilarious it is. There's tons of meme videos about it on YouTube and other platforms, and with that, it's launched right back up into the top selling games. At number 6 on our list, 2,700 ratings give this thing a 4.5 star. This is a fantasy game where you are using magical powers, and a lot of people just messing with Scully now. 72% 5-star ratings with people saying it's top tier. They absolutely love it. It's the greatest game ever now. And people in the lower reviews just citing some issues with bugs, or saying why can't you just free play in the lab. A hilarious game whether you want to play or you want to make content on it. Waltz of the Wizard has really popped up recently. Bone Lab's still showing up these years later as a top-selling game. Bone Lab is a VR physics-based playground with tons of mod support and mods letting you do almost anything you want to in this game now. And good physics just make it hilarious to play. With that, over 26,000 ratings, giving this about a 4.8 star rating, 80% 5-star reviews. People saying it's really fun, they like the story, the bugs and glitches have been ironed out. People saying it's really for creative people, you can do what you want with this game. And most of the lower reviews citing issues with the mods they've tried to get, or losing the mods that they had, or people still citing some features that they found buggy and they didn't like. But tons of people agree, and this is one of our highest rated games on the list today. If it's something that you're gonna spend the time in, mod it, try out all the different community-based ones, you will get tons of hours out of Bone Lab. If you're just gonna play through the story one time though, it may not be worth visiting for you. Blade and Sorcery Nomad is the classic, highly viral, popular PCVR game coming over to Quest, psychopath simulator that puts you in a battlefield fighting all kinds of enemies, and they've added additional modes now. The PC version is getting its full launch, so there may be more coming to this soon. But people agree this is a top 5 game you have to put your friends into VR and watch them go full psycho mode on the enemies, and nearly 50,000 ratings, giving this about a 4.2 star rating, 69% 5-star ratings. Nice. People saying it's a 10 out of 10 game. It's so enjoyable, it's so fun, the spells feel really good, you gotta play it. But people complaining that on older headsets it's having problems, it's not working. People saying they used to play the game and love it and now it just keeps crashing for them. I personally have been in Blade and Sorcery lately and I haven't seen these problems, but it does seem like maybe there's an issue the developer needs to look into as we are moving into new headsets and new platforms. But ultimately, Blade and Sorcery is a game everyone should have in VR. Beat Saber, of course, one of the games that brought VR to the absolute mainstream. Still one of the top sold games out there, over 50,000 ratings. This is a rhythm-based game where you have a lightsaber in each hand, you're jamming out to your favorite music, slicing blocks in a pattern as they come at you. And $30 will get you into the game with a lot of the original soundtrack, although if you do want to buy more, it will rack up in cost. 50,000 ratings, giving it a 4.5 star rating, 77% 5 stars. People saying it's their favorite game, it's a great workout, it's a top 2 VR game, you've got to have it. But people bringing up how updates can mess it up, especially if you're modding the game. Updates can break all those. And some people saying that they don't feel like it's as rhythmy as they want it to be. It's more of just a slashing simulator. But personally, Beat Saber is probably the VR game I've spent the most time in myself. I absolutely love it, and it's something that I show everyone who wants to try VR to make them fall in love with it too. A surprise newcomer to the list, Witchblood, is showing up as one of the top selling games and has only been out for a month now. This is a mixed reality side-scrolling adventure inspired by Metroid and Castlevania. You look at a diorama from the side as you play through this game with boss battles, hidden treasures, puzzles, and magic. And over 200 ratings, giving this about a 4.4 star rating already. People saying this was a surprise. It was so good, they did not know what to expect when they got in, but you have to have this game. But a pretty divided opinion, with other people just saying it's boring or terrible, but a lot of people saying that they wanted a Gorilla Tag cosmetic and bought this game to get that one in Gorilla Tag, and that they're unhappy with the game. I personally haven't played this yet, but I'd love to know your opinions out there. Have you played this? Did you get it because of Gorilla Tag? And is this really a good game to sync up with Gorilla Tag in a way like this to try and get people to get it? Because would Gorilla Tag players love a game like this? It's an interesting idea and how it happened. And still in the #1 spot, Attack on Titan VR at only $5, a huge IP like Attack on Titan. Tons of people are buying this game to try it out even though it's in early access, and over 1,300 people giving it a 4.7 star rating. If you don't know the Attack on Titan universe, this drops you right into it, where you can fly around with your zero gravity suit trying to take down giant titans, and 79% of people agree this is a 5-star game, saying it's very fun, it's well made, it's impressive, they're addicted, and even in its early access stages. But other people in the lower reviews pointing out that it is early. There's issues with it, the FPS drops, the frame drops, some things are really making people sick in it. But with that $5 price, it's no surprise that it's selling the most units and people are checking it out. And what do you think out there right now? $5 is a good price for an early access game, and all the different games on the list, I gotta say, not a lot of surprises besides Witchblood, and I wonder how much that is really just coming from that Gorilla Tag cosmetic, with Gorilla Tag being the biggest free game ever. This game was only the paid games and the top ones out there, so games like Gorilla Tag don't quite make the list. But what games did you pay for and you play that you think should have been on the list? Let me know in the comments down below. But thank you once again for coming out and being here with me today, and I'll see you in another reality.